Eutrophication presents as one of the most serious ecological problems of open water sources, such as lakes, oceans, and reservoirs. It is characterized by dense algae and plant growth, owing to the enrichment by phosphorus and nitrogen nutrients needed for photosynthesis. As a result, it often contributes to the formation of extensive mats of floating plants. Examples of the plants include algae blooms, Nile cabbage, and water hyacinths. The nutrients come from animal waste, fertilizers, and sewage, which are washed by rain or irrigation into the water bodies. Through surface runoff, eutrophication can also take place naturally over thousands of years as the lakes grow old and get filled with sediments. Some of the causes of eutrophication is using phosphate and nitrate fertilizers. Eutrophication predominantly caused by human actions due to the dependence on using nitrates and phosphate fertilizers. Agricultural practices and the use of phosphate and nitrate fertilizers contribute to phosphate and nitrates accumulation. Furthermore, the concentrated animal feeding operation or CAFO are as well the main contributor to eutrophication. The concentrated animal feeding normally discharge high scores of the nutrients that find their way into rivers, streams, lakes, and oceans, where they accumulate in high concentration, plaguing the water bodies by recurring cyanobacterial and algae blooms. Additionally, in some parts of the world, especially the developing nations, sewage water is directly discharged into water bodies. This leads to high amount of chemical nutrients, thereby stimulating the dense growth of algae blooms and other aquatic plants. Even though the water is treated, it can still cause the accumulation of excess nutrients. Moreover, agriculture is also qualified as a top-ranking contributor to eutrophication. This technique of growing shellfish, fish, and even aquatic plants containing dissolved nutrients. If the technique is not properly managed, the unconsumed food particles together with the fish excretion can significantly increase the level of nitrogen and phosphorus in the water, resulting in dense growth of microscopic floating plants. Lastly, the natural events such as floods and the natural flow of streams can also wash excess nutrients of the land into the water systems, causing excessive growth of algae blooms. Also, as the lake grow old, they naturally accumulate sediments as well as phosphorus and nitrogen nutrients.
The effects of eutrophication are the growth of algae on top of the water. This is due to the increase of nutrients such as nitrate and phosphate. When algae grows on the top surface of the top layer of water, it will hinder the sunlight from penetrating into the water. When sunlight cannot get through, the rate of photosynthesis done by the aquatic plants will slow down. When this happens, the amount of oxygen in the water will decrease, and aquatic life will start to die. When the aquatic life such as plants and fish die, decomposer bacteria will start to decompose the remains of the aquatic life. This will result in an increase of biochemical oxygen demand. What is biochemical oxygen demand? It is the total amount of oxygen that is needed for decomposer bacteria to function. So we can use this as a way to judge the quality of the water.
First, composting. Eutrophication mainly arises from the use of nitrate and phosphate fertilizers. In a bid to address the phenomenon, composting can be used as a solution. Composting is the practice of converting organic matter such as food residues and decaying vegetation into compost manure. The nutrients present in the compost manure are deficient in the high concentration of nitrates and phosphates that feed the algae and other microbes in water bodies. In compost fertilizer, all the essential elements are broken down and synthesized by the plants, therefore not creating the cycle of eutrophication anymore. This method of controlling eutrophication is termed as nutrient limitation. Second, reducing pollution. Just like composting, limiting pollution is an easy and effective method of cutting back on the amount of nitrogen and phosphate discharged into water system. Big manufacturing companies and municipalities ought to reduce pollution and disease from discharging waste into water system to reduce the amount of toxins and nutrients ending up in the waters that feed the algae and other microscopic organisms. If industry municipalities can cap their waste discharge and pollution to a lower level, then nutrient content is reduced in the water system, which can subsequently control eutrophication. Third, strengthening laws and regulations against non-point pollution. Strengthening laws and regulations against non-point water source pollution can substantially control eutrophication. According to EPA, non-point pollution presents the most serious challenge in the management of nutrient entry into water system. Controlling nutrient sources, therefore, result in decreased eutrophication. By minimizing non-point pollution, we are essentially lessening the amount of nutrient entering the aquatic ecosystem. The laws should aim at enhancing high water quality standards and zero tolerance to the non-point solution. With the support of policymakers, citizens, pollution regulatory authorities, and the government, it's easy to control eutrophication. Last but not least, curative solutions to eutrophication. Where water quality is already compromised, that any preventive initiative is ineffective, curative procedures can be implemented, such as removal and treatment of hypolytic water, deep water in contact with the sediments, and rich in nutrients as it is in direct contact with the resources. Second, drainage of the first 10 to 20 centimeters of sediment that is subject to biological reactions and with high phosphorus concentration.
The major aim of wastewater treatment is to protect human health. Several episodes of disease such as diarrhea and cholera have been reported in South Africa. In 2004, South Africa has been reported a cholera outbreak and 380 cases of diarrhea and a typhoid fever were recorded. Surface water will remain as an alternative source of water to meet domestic water demand, mostly in rural areas of the world. Wastewater influence should be treated efficiently so our health is remain healthy. So they need to develop a new idea on how to treat the water so the environment and the other people is not rely on the surface water as their major source of water supply.